In our walk with God, it is so important that we remain focused on what God has called us for. The passion and the desires that God has birthed in us, it's so important that we don't get distracted and be carried away to walk in another path. Many a times the tests and the trials begin to shake us, begin to disturb us, begin to create a kind of a turmoil in our emotions. Or sometimes the cares and the worries of the world begin to make us drift away from the path that God has called us for. It is so important to stay focused, because we know that when we walk in the path that God has called us to walk on, when we stay in that path, we will begin to see God prosper it and God lead us to the destination that He has called us for. When we open up our Bibles to 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 11 and 12, we see there of Elisha and Elijah. It says that, and as they still went on and talked, behold, chariots of fire and horses of fire separated the two of them. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, my father. Elisha saw it. You see, the condition for Elisha was, if he wanted to receive the double portion of the anointing, he had to see what God was going to be doing to Elijah when Elijah would be lifted up. Elisha had to stay focused. Elisha could have been carried away by the moment and maybe gone into mourning because he's now no more going to see Elijah. Or maybe the cloak of Elijah that was lying around, Elisha could have ran and caught it or taken hold of it. But Elisha stayed focused. When we look into the previous verses, in verse 3, we see there were other sons of the prophets that came to Elisha and tried to distract him from what he desired. We know he desired the double portion. And the other sons of the prophets came to him and said, do you know that Elijah, your father, is going to be lifted up now? Elisha could have been carried away by those words and gone into a time of gossip and gone into a time of showing how much he knows and what revelations he had. But no, he stayed focused. And because of that, we know that he received the double portion of the anointing. I want to encourage you today. You want to receive what God has for you, all that God has for you. Stay focused on the path that God has called you to walk. It may be difficult, it may be filled with tests and trials, but keep staying focused and walk in that direction, and you will not be disappointed. We know God telling Joshua in the book of Joshua, God told Joshua, don't look to the left or to the right, so that you will make your way prosperous. That means God was telling Joshua, stay focused and you will make yourself or make your way prosperous. Don't be carried away by your emotions. The emotions will keep changing. Don't be carried away by the needs or the cares of the world. They will be taken care of by God. Don't be carried away by your tests and trials. Stay focused on what God has kept for you. Stay focused on the path that God has asked you to walk, and you will definitely see your life fruitful, and you will definitely achieve what God has kept for you. God bless you.